Hi guys, good evening. So in the last session, we saw evolution of firewall. Yes. Anything you want to ask? So in the last session, we had seen about evolution of your firewall. Now today, what we'll do is we'll go with the fundamentals of a firewall. So those who have attended ASA, they have already gone through this part, right? So I believe everybody remembers this part, fundamentals of firewall, correct? And yesterday I gave you a task also about, checking stateful firewall. Okay. What was the task actually? I think stateful and stateless firewall. Or you have to check about next generation firewall. What was the task?
Types of firewall.
Types of firewall. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. So see, what is a firewall? So first of all, you guys tell me what is a firewall.
Firewall is a software or hardware which is filtering inbound or outbound traffic based on the set of rules.
Okay. So here we can say firewall is a security hardware or software that is going to filter your incoming as well as outgoing network traffic and will take a permit or deny action based on the rules that are configured in the firewall. So what are the types of rules?
Implicit and explicit.
Implicit and explicit. So what are implicit rules and what are explicit rules?
Implicit is your system defined rules we cannot modify, and explicit rule is we can modify. It is user defined rules.
Correct. So one is implicit, which are system defined and cannot be modified. Explicit, user defined and can be modified. So can you give me one example of explicit rules?
Is ACLs.
ACLs, right? So the ACLs that we create is a type of explicit rule. Okay. Then in the firewall, we do have what? Zones, like we have inside zone, what we have outside zone, and we have DMZ zone. So what is a zone? What is a firewall zone?
It is a trustworthiness of firewall.
Firewall, no. It's not the trustworthiness of a firewall. So what is a zone?
The subnets configured on the each direction of the firewall in each interfaces.
No. This is also not very correct. Subnets are configured. So if subnets are configured, how does it, like what it does, what does it have to do with
the subnets?
Sorry?
No, it's I mean for Ethernet and WAN, that kind of categorization.
No, this is not a proper answer for this. Yes. What is a zone? We have outside, inside DMZ. So what are these? Someone was talking about trustworthiness, right? Somewhat correct, but not completely correct. Yes, Deepak. This is the trustworthiness of a interface or a network, not a firewall. Okay. Your zone is what? It is the trustworthiness of a network or an interface. Okay. See, in a firewall, you are going to have multiple interfaces. Okay. And to those interfaces, you will be configuring what? Different networks. So in which network you trust the most, which network you do not trust. Okay, depending on that, what will happen? You will allow a number of services. Okay, so a zone defines the trustworthiness, that how much you trust a particular network or a interface. Now, we have the inside zone, we have the outside zone, and we have the DMZ zone. So what is DMZ? What is DMZ? Yes, guys, anyone? What is DMZ? Guys, we have studied ASA, right? You must know what is DMZ.
The network which have the access from the LAN as well as the outside public network.
Access from?
Inside network and from the public network.
So I can keep the, like whatever I want to keep in the DMZ, I can keep it in the internal network also.
No, the servers which the public need to access, that we can place on the DMZ zone.
But why won't I keep it in the internal zone or in the external zone itself?
To avoid the unwanted traffic access the LAN network of that corporate.
So why don't I keep it in the outside network then?
Right.
Why do I need to have a separate zone for the servers? Isolate zones for server, for safety. We want to give access, not complete access. Demilitarized zone, a zone where we keep a server for the public. Okay, understand. That what will happen? Understand, this is your firewall. Okay. Then on this side we have internet. Then we have some servers and PCs. And then I have my internal network. See, first of all, I cannot keep my servers on the outside. Why? Because otherwise anybody will be able to directly access my server and they can easily compromise my server, right? So I don't want that thing. So I will not keep it in the outside zone. Now, if I don't want to keep it in the outside zone, might be I want to keep it in the inside zone. So this is my PC1. And this is my PC2. To keep it safe from outside and inside and only have admin access. Half part was correct, but another half only admin access. If you just want admin access, then keep it in the internal network only, right? Or keep it in the management network only. This is your firewall. Consider this is your FTD here. And this is your internet. Okay. This is how our lab is, and you can consider this as google.com having something like this. And this is your Delhi branch. Now, if I keep the server in my internal network, few problems are there. This is my server. This is my inside zone. And here I have outside zone. Okay. Now what? Let's consider here you are using 10110/24. On the outside, we are using 11110/24. Here you can consider 111110. Here you can consider 101110. This is the 0x0 interface. This is the 0x1 interface. Okay. So we're running the service HTTP, having an IP address 10.100. PC1, 10.111, PC2, 10.112. This Delhi branch 21.111. This is 31.1. Okay, this is how it is. Now, let's say for an example, this guy, okay, from Delhi branch is willing to access your server. Okay. Or you can say people on the internet, they want to access your server because you're hosting a website. So they will try to access it. Traffic will come to your firewall. And in your firewall, you will have to allow the traffic that is going for this one. Because if this is a public facing server, you have to allow the traffic. You have to create an ASLC. Default behavior of firewall is what? Deny. So by default, your firewall FTD is going to deny all the traffic from outside to inside. Okay. And if you want to allow that, okay, people should be able to access the server. In that case, what you will have to do? You will have to go and create a rule. You will have to go and create a policy here that if the destination is 10.1.1.10, okay, like what kind of rule you will create? For an example, in this case, if you want that, okay, everybody on the outside, they should be able to access your server. So you will say that if source is anybody, but destination is 10.1.1.100, action should be allowed. This kind of rule you will have to create because you want that your server should be accessible by everybody on the internet. Okay. So that means if they are coming for server only, in that case, your firewall will allow the traffic. And if they are trying to reach 10.1.1.1 or 10.1.1.2, will your firewall allow? No, right? Your firewall will not allow. In this case, your firewall is not going to allow. Okay. So now what? This is okay because everybody is able to access my server from the outside and they are not able to access my internal network. So no problems at all. But the thing is that what if somehow these guys, they are able to compromise? They are having a malicious intention and they are able to compromise your server. If somehow they compromised your server, what will happen? They will have access to your server. They will be able to control your server. And if they are able to control your server, in that case, they can use your server to compromise these two PCs also. That means they will have access to your entire network. They can compromise your entire network. This is the problem, that if your server is compromised, then your entire internal network is also exposed. Okay, your entire internal network is also exposed. This is one reason, correct? And let's say this server is secure. This server is not compromised. Okay, this server is not compromised. That means this is the situation, normal situation. Now what? One of the guy in your company, let's say this guy at PC1, he was accessing internet. This guy was accessing what? Internet. So let's say he was going to this website, Google. On the Google website, there was a malicious file. On the Google website, there was a malicious file. This guy downloaded the file and executed it. Okay. Some sort of cracked program or any sort of file this guy downloaded. So once this guy will download the file, so in the file, there was a Trojan. This system was compromised. Okay. This particular PC is compromised. Now, if this PC is compromised, the attacker can use this PC to take access of your server also, and can also take access of your PC. Then they will also get compromised. This is another problem we have. Yes or no? Two reasons. Third reason. Okay. Now let's go for the third reason. Maybe everything is okay, but now what will happen? That there will be so many people that will be accessing the server. Okay, there will be so many different requests that will be coming here to access what? The server, and everybody will be accessing the server. Everybody will be accessing the server. Multiple requests are there. Okay. So what will happen? Now reporting will become very complex. Why? Because on this interface, the amount of traffic is very huge. The amount of traffic is very huge. So if I want to report an incident, if I have to go and, if I want to go and you can say, like, for an example, find out logs also. So from one single interface, if I will check, so my entire internal network as well as my server, everybody will be generating the logs. Everybody will be accessing. So reporting will become very complex because here, whatever the traffic is there on this interface, it will include your server traffic as well as your employee traffic also. So even your reporting will become very complex. Is it clear? Okay. Another reason why we want to keep your server in a different zone. So let's say, for an example, for server, you want to deploy a service, you want to deploy a policy here that, okay, this network or this particular zone, when the traffic is going from outside to inside, okay, so it should not allow any outdated browsers, or, you can kind of, what we will do is we will perform content filtering. Okay. We will perform what? Content filtering. Now what will happen? The same rules will apply for your internal network also. So in your internal network, if anybody is using an outdated browser, their content will also be blocked. Okay. So this kind of issues will be there. Another problem is maybe one of the employee in your organization has a malicious intention. One of the employee in your organization itself, they have a malicious intention. So in that case, what will happen? This guy will directly go and compromise the server because same network have the access. So this guy will directly compromise the server. Now, when this guy will try to access the server and compromise it, the traffic will never go to the firewall. That means no filtering at all. Is it clear? So due to all of these reasons, what we are doing, we are not keeping the server in the same zone, in the inside zone. This is the reason we want to isolate the server. Okay. So if you will isolate the server, what will happen? Understand? In that case, this is your server. Now server will not be available in the outside zone. Two, What do you mean two? So consider this is your Z01 to interface. And this zone here, we will call it as a DMZ zone. Okay, and in the DMZ, let's say we will use 10.2.2.0/24. And the IP address here we will use. So this is your server. IP address that you will use here is 10.2.100 and service you're running is HTTP. Now if we go and take all those points in the consideration again. So if somebody is trying to access from outside, their traffic has to come through the firewall, and I can create a rule that okay, allow this traffic, do not allow this traffic. And even if somebody from the outside is able to compromise your server, so they cannot access your internal network using this server. Why? Because they will have to again pass through the firewall. They have to pass again through the firewall. All traffic passes through firewall, internal and outside. Only server traffic can be monitored in case of attack. If one PC server is compromised, then other. Yes, correct. Okay, so all those points we can take it in consideration. That what is happening if the server is compromised? In that case, your internal network is still isolated. They cannot access the internal network. Okay, this is the first consideration. Another consideration that if somebody from the internal is compromised, now the attackers, they cannot use. Okay, now what? The attacker cannot use this PC to compromise the server. Why? Because only limited access we will have with the server, and also we will have rules for filtering the traffic. L3 based filtering, L4 based filtering, L7 filtering, all these kind of filterings also we are going to have here. So that means if internal network is compromised, your servers are safe. If server is compromised, your internal network is safe. Then the third thing was that your reporting is complex. Why? Because earlier what we're having, like what was happening, that when we were checking the traffic of this interface, this was including your employee traffic as well as your server traffic. But now if I want to monitor my server traffic, I will just go and monitor this interface. That will include only my server traffic, incoming and outgoing traffic to my server. And if I will go and monitor this, then what? I will have information about my internal network. So reporting becomes easy. I don't have to go and segregate the traffic. Okay. And now if I want, I can allow selected services for this server. Only specific services I can go and perform my, you can say like, I can go and perform content filtering also. Okay, so with outdated browser, nobody will be able to access the server. So those kind of filterings I can do. I can block certain services like, I will not allow telnet services here. Okay, there will be no telnet allowed to this server. So these kind of things I can filter. Is it clear? Yes or no? Okay. So this is one of the reasons that you keep your servers in the DMZ. Okay, so now I believe it's clear why DMZ is required. To segregate your or isolate your internal network from the servers. Okay, so that if the server is compromised, your internal network is not exposed. So your DMZ is basically a zone. Okay, your DMZ is basically a zone that is available, or you can say that is not a part of inside and also is not a part of outside. Somewhere in between it is. This is available somewhere in between. That means neither the inside people can access or compromise it, nor the outside people can compromise it. And if this is compromised also, they have to come through the firewall. So my firewall will perform filtering. And if somehow this is compromised also, my internal network is not exposed. Okay. So I believe internal inside outside DMZ concept is clear now. Okay. Vendors of firewall. So we know there are different vendors of firewall. We have Cisco, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Fortinet. Okay. Multiple different vendors are there. pfSense is there, which is an open source. Okay. So out of all these vendors now, these are, like consistently updating their firewalls and all. So sometimes Palo Alto is at the top, Checkpoint is at the top. There was a time when Checkpoint was at the top. Then after that, your Palo Alto came at the top. And right now, your Fortinet is at the top. Cisco, for a long time, Cisco hasn't been at the top. Usually Cisco remains at number 3, number 4, like that. Okay. So how do we know which is the top firewall? So for checking this, we check the Gartner report. Okay. So if we go to Gartner Magic Quadrant for firewall, and the last report they generated was in 2023. Like this kind of quadrant they generated was in 2022. So if I show you, I think this one is also for okay, this is for 2021. So you can see in the 2021, Palo Alto was at the top, then second was Fortinet, then Checkpoint, and then finally Cisco. Okay. But later on in 2022, Fortinet took over Palo Alto. Okay. So now what is the scenario? In the 2022, how it was? Number 1, Fortinet. Number 2, Palo Alto. Number 3, Checkpoint. Number 4, Cisco. And as per current scenario, if we go and check, so you can see who is at the top. It is your Fortinet. Then number 2, Checkpoint. Number 3, Palo Alto. Number 4, Cisco. Okay. So Cisco usually, for a long time, Cisco has been at number 4 only, because the UI of these firewalls, FortiGate, Checkpoint, and Palo Alto, it is far better than Cisco. Okay, they are very easy to configure, and the best is actually Fortinet. When you will use Fortinet, you will automatically come to know that why people love it. Okay. So as of now, Fortinet is the top as per a customer's choice. Okay. This is, you can see customer's choice 2024 Fortinet. Okay, so we check the Gartner quadrant to check like, okay, which is the best firewall. Then types of firewall. So this was given to you as a task. So yes, guys, tell me what are the types of firewall? What are the types of firewall?
Stateless and stateful and next generation.
Directly stateless, stateful, next generation.
Host based and network based.
Host based and network based. So what are host based firewalls?
Host based firewalls usually use in our laptops, PCs.
These are usually used in laptops, PCs, but what are they? You told me the use case, but you didn't tell me what are these. Yes, guys. Anyone, please tell me. What is a host-based firewall? Windows firewall to protect single host, antivirus. Host-based is for single host, correct. Okay. Host-based firewalls, these are the firewalls which are used to protect a single host. Okay, you are just trying to protect one system like your Windows Defender firewall. Okay, whatever the antiviruses you install in a system. So all these are what? These all are host-based firewall. So a host-based firewall is going to protect a single host only. It's not going to protect your entire network. While if we talk about network-based firewalls, so what are network-based firewalls? What are network-based firewalls? Yes, guys, tell me. What are network-based firewalls? Network-based firewall is to secure the entire network. Correct. Okay. Host-based firewalls, they will protect a single host, while a network-based firewall will protect entire network. So again, these firewalls, they are of two types, hardware and software. Okay. So hardware firewall, that means they are a physical device, and software firewalls, these are what? Virtual devices, like virtual machines. Okay. And if we talk about your firewalls, so we have stateless, stateful, and next generation. So what is a stateless firewall?
Filter based on the header information.
Header information. So stateful will not filter based on header information.
Stateless will not keep the connection of the communication.
Correct.
Stateful will keep the connection. Will maintain the connection.
Yes. Stateless firewalls, what they will do is they will filter based on source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port. That is okay. But they cannot maintain a connection state. They cannot maintain a connection table. While your stateful firewalls, they are capable of maintaining connection table. That means they are capable of maintaining the state of connection. Remember, see, in case of, your, can consider like, just consider anything, okay? Like ASA, you can take as an example. So ASA is a stateful firewall. But in ASA, we have seen connection table, right? We use the command. What was the command to check the connection table?
Show connection.
Show connection, correct. Okay. So ASA or stateful firewall is capable of maintaining the state of connection, are capable of maintaining connection table. And based on the connection table entries, they will allow the reply traffic. Correct. But stateless, they do not maintain the connection state. So if they are not maintaining the connection state, then to allow the reply traffic also, we have to go and create a dedicated rule itself. Okay. Then what about next generation firewall? What are next generation firewalls?
It will have additional features like content filtering, URL filtering, and layer 3 inspection.
So next,
sorry, layer 7.
Layer 7, correct, not layer 3. Okay. So see, stateful firewall can also have a layer 7 inspection. Okay. But next generation firewall, these are the firewalls which are going to have some extra features. Okay, extra features like they can have data loss prevention features. That means they can check for data loss. Then they can have sandboxing features. Guys, are you aware about sandbox? What is a sandbox? And why it is used? No. What about other people? No. Sandboxing is a very important feature of your next generation firewalls. Okay. So basically, what is sandboxing? An isolated environment to open malicious files. Yes. Okay. So sandboxing is a feature where what your firewall is going to do, whatever the files is there. Okay. So if they think that, okay, this file could be malicious, then they will run the file. They will execute the file in a controlled environment, in an isolated environment. And when they are executing the file, if they find that, okay, the file is malicious. Okay. In that case, what will happen? In that case, they are going to drop it. They are going to drop the file. See, normally how your firewalls are detecting whether the files are malicious or not? How do they come to know? How your firewalls come to know that whether a file is malicious or not? Any idea? How they will come to know whether a file is malicious or not? Check the data. So will they really check the data? And how your firewall will come to know whether the data is malicious or not? How? How your firewall will come to know whether the data is malicious or not malicious? No idea? Guys, you know or not?
I don't have any idea.
According to file extension, based on previous attacks that recorded in the firewall database, maybe. No. Not according to file extension also, because see, malware can come in form of any file, right? It can be PDF, doc, it can be exe. So what are the files? You cannot block them, right? Okay. So understand. Basically, what will happen? Normally your firewalls work on the basis of signature-based detection. Okay, consider an example. You're going out in the market and you have to buy apples. Okay. You have to buy what? Apple. So if you are going to the market to buy apples, so will you just randomly take all the apples, or you will check whether those apples are good or not? They are fresh or not? At least you will check, right? Yes or no? Because otherwise there might be some rotten apples. There is a possibility. So how you will come to know whether apple is rotten or not? How will you come to know that an apple is not fresh? Color. Okay. Other than color? Texture. Okay. What else? Smell. Correct. So we have some factors, right? Now let's say anything you talk about, you can talk about color, you can talk about texture, you can talk about smell. So there is a particular thing, right? Like smell. So even a fresh apple is going to have a smell, right? Even a fresh apple will have a smell. But how will you come to know that, okay, the apple is rotten? Because the rotten apple will have a specific kind of smell. Yes or no? Something that we do not like. Correct? So same way. Now, who tells us that the apple is rotten? You take a smell, your brain will tell you that, okay, no, this is not good. That means there is a database already in your brain that, okay, this smell is good, this is not good. Correct? Same way, in your firewall also, you have a database. And that database, you call it as a signature database. So in that database, there will be malicious signatures present. Okay, there will be what? Malicious signatures present. So what will happen now? Now, if the particular file is going to the firewall, so firewall will check the signature of the file. Okay, so whatever is the signature of the file, firewall is going to match it with the database. And if the signature of the file is matching with the database, that means what? It's a malicious file. Okay. In that case, what does it mean? It means it's a malicious file because your database contains signatures of malicious files only. Malicious signatures only. So if any file signature is matching with the database, that means the file is malicious. Practically, if you want to see, I can show you also. Okay, let me just access the server. So let me access. One doubt, is this database a cloud or stored locally? Both. Okay. Normally, it will be with the firewall itself. But if you integrate your firewall with security intelligence, then it will become a part of cloud also. Regular updates will be there. Let me access this Windows here. See, here we have certificate. These are the certificates. This is S4 exam study tool. S4 PDF. Really? S4. Okay, this is just the curriculum. Okay. Now, see here, what I'll do is I'll go and create one. I think this is a malware only. See here, this is a malicious file here. Okay, looks like a program and name is what? Chrome installer, but this is not a Chrome installer. This is a malicious file. Okay, and if you want to see what this file does, let's execute this file. See what it says? It says you are hacked and my system is down. So this is a malicious file here, which restarted my system. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go and check that, okay, how many security vendors they are detecting it as a malicious file. Okay. So I haven't created it very harmful. Okay, this is just a normal virus only. So let's go and check it. So from here, you can go to virus loader and you can upload that file here. Okay. And you see, out of 73 vendors, out of 73 security vendors, how many are detecting? Only 15 are detecting it as a malicious. Okay, and this is the signature of this file. Okay, now who is detecting it? And what is the potential, like popular threat label? It is PUA. What do you mean by PUA? Anyone knows? PUA means potentially unwanted application. Okay, the applications that could compromise your system, that looks legitimate, but those are going to give unauthorized access. You know, how many of you are aware about BitTorrent or uTorrent? Anybody have used uTorrent? I am aware. Okay, so even the uTorrent has been declared as a potentially unwanted application only. Why? Because your torrent, do you know how torrent works actually? See here. When you use torrent, you see seeders and peers, this kind of thing, right? So there will be a server where the file is actually hosted. This is the server. Now what? Let's say you are the first user who is downloading that file. So what will happen? You will get the file directly from here. Okay, and you are using here what? You are using some sort of uTorrent application. Now what will happen? Now next time if somebody will try to download this file, next time somebody is trying to download this file, so what will happen? The file will come from two places. So one, it will be sent from your system, and another one, it will be coming from the server. So this guy will get higher speed compared to your system, because some part of the file is coming from your system and some part of the file is coming from server. Then when the next guy will download, let's say another guy is trying to download this file. Okay, so now what will happen? This guy will get even higher speed. Why? Because the file will be coming from server as well as from this system as well as from this system. And this is how, you know, you see their seeders and peers. So more the number of seeders and peers, higher the speed, higher the torrent download speed. So this is how it works. They will form this kind of a chain. So kind of, you know, they are controlling your system to send this file to anyone who is downloading. So you can say kind of they are having access to your system. Is it clear? Yes, you don't allow it. It automatically sends because we are not aware. How does it work? So you might always notice it that whenever you download anything from torrent, so still, you know, your download speed may go down, but you know, your seeders, peers, that speed will keep on continuing. That will consume your data. Why? Because this thing is happening in the backend. So your Microsoft and some other vendors, they have already declared your uTorrent as potentially unwanted application. Okay. Clear? Yeah. So stop using it if you are using it. Now see here, who are the vendors who are not able to detect and who are the vendors detecting? So you can see like, these are some of the vendors, some popular names. Fortinet is able to detect it. Okay. Fortinet is able to detect it. K7 antivirus is detecting it. Max Secure is detecting. Palo Alto is detecting. McAfee is detecting. Sky High Security is detecting. But now see here, who is not detecting? Your Bitdefender is not Bitdefender not detecting. CrowdStrike, nowadays this is very popular. Recently the incident that happened, right? So they are not detecting it. Bitdefender is not detecting it. Avast Security is not detecting it. Then you can talk about eScan, Google, Kaspersky, Kingsoft, Malwarebytes. Okay. Then you have Nano, Panda, Microsoft, Quickheal. Nobody is detecting. SecureAge is there. Sophos is there. Symantec is there. Tencent, Trend Micro, Webroot is there. Do you see? Nobody is detecting. This is how a signature-based detection works. So this simply means that in your database, if signature is there, you will be able to filter out malicious traffic. But if the signature is not there in your database, in that case, you cannot detect it. In that case, you will not be able to detect it. So now you might have heard of zero-day exploits. What is zero-day? Or a zero-day attack? Guys, have you heard of it? Zero-day attack? First of its kind attack? No. See, what is a zero-day? Zero-day attack is basically on a vulnerability that has been exposed, but it has not been patched yet. Simply means what? Kind of a new attack. Kind of a new attack. Okay, that nobody is aware. So now if I am creating, see, these guys, they are already having a database of malwares, right? Signature database for all the malwares that they know. But if I'm creating a malware which is not having which is kind of a new malware, that means nobody has the signature for it. So none of the firewalls will filter it out. So that are only the security. What do you mean? That are only the security patch update in phones and Windows. About what? So understand this thing. We get security patch. Yes, you get it. To update the databases. Correct. That is your security patch update. Okay. And that is the reason your Windows also keep on getting updates. See, in Windows, let's say how many of you use Microsoft Edge? Tell me. How many of you use Microsoft Edge? Everybody? And most of the people might not be using it. But can you uninstall it from Windows? No. That means it is going to be there. Correct? Now let's see how many vulnerabilities are there. See here. You will always find an vulnerability there. Okay, see, recent vulnerability that was patched August 15, 2024. What kind of vulnerability it was? Elevation of privilege. Okay, so in case of Microsoft Edge, you will find a lots of vulnerabilities even though you don't use it. And this is the reason we have to keep on updating our Windows. Sometimes we just avoid it. Why? Because we don't want to wait for the updates. It takes a long time, but it's important. Okay, it is important. Then here you can see Azure managed instance for Apache Cassandra. So this is again elevation of privilege. Same vulnerability. See here, same vulnerability in multiple different products of Microsoft. Okay, even you can see the article number also. And even you can see the CVE number also, that 38186, 38186, 38186, 38186, 38186. See here. So in multiple different products, Windows Server 2022, 19, 19, Windows 10, Windows 10, everywhere they have the vulnerability. And if you don't update your Windows, in that case, your system will be vulnerable to all these vulnerabilities. So this is why you have to keep on updating it so that the patches and fixes can be applied. And not just this. See, these are all 13th August. Okay. See here, Windows 11. Information disclosure vulnerability. Almost all the architectures of Windows 11 and 10. And you can see CVE number is also the same. So when there's a vulnerability and if we are not updating it, that means we are exposed to that vulnerability and our system can easily be compromised. See here, again, so many vulnerabilities. And this is remote code execution. And there can be nothing more worse than a remote code execution. That means attackers are able to remotely execute code onto your system. What else could you be afraid of? Is it clear? And you see all of these vulnerabilities, date you can see. This is very recent. Is it clear? So, Microsoft is managed by a big corporation. Still, they have issues, but people say Linux is more secure and the updates are less only. See, the thing with Linux is there are very small things in Linux that makes it secure. And see, actually, even we cannot say Linux is secure. Why? Because it always depends on the user, how we are using it. If you have a Windows system and if you are not, using any third-party websites, downloading random files from the internet and all, so you are safe in Windows environment also. Okay. And even if you are using Linux and you are downloading and executing files, downloading different files for Linux and executing them in the Linux environment, so still you can get compromised. It's not like, Linux systems are something like you cannot compromise. You can compromise Linux systems also. But the chances are less. Why? Because Linux systems are already hardened. Okay. And also Linux does not have, very easy architecture as Windows. Linux files do not get executed automatically. Multiple different levels of permissions are there. Any process directly cannot go and access any random file. So many things are there. So you can say Linux is having number of more security features as compared to Windows. Okay. All right. So my point here was that if they are not having the signature, if I'm creating a new malware, that means they will not be able to detect. So that means definitely your network will get compromised. And this is where your sandboxing features are useful. Because by default, they will perform signature-based detection only. Okay. But if your firewall is having the sandboxing features, that means in a controlled environment, your firewall will execute the program or the file. And if the file has a malicious behavior, then in that case, what will happen? It will be dropped. The file will be blocked. Is it clear? All right. So hardware-based firewall is a physical hardware, and software-based firewall will be what? They will be virtual machines like this. Okay. So you will have a server. Okay, can be Dell, HP, Cisco, any of the server it can be. There you will install an operating system like ESXi. Okay, And then on top of the ESXi, we will install the virtual images like ASAV or Palo Alto Virtual or FTD Virtual. These images we will install. Okay, so the ESXi deployment is also, I'm going to show you. Don't worry. Then we have stateless versus stateful firewall. So stateless firewall is going to filter based on header information in the packet, like your source IP, destination IP, and port number. Okay, but it cannot maintain a state of connection. So based on connection table entries, first of all, there is no connection table. If there is no connection table, then based on connection table entry, they cannot allow the reply traffic also. But your stateful firewalls. So stateful firewall use the concept of state table, where it will store the state of legitimate connections. Okay, and based on the connection table entries, they will allow the reply traffic. This is the difference between stateless and stateful. Then these are the features of a firewall. A normal firewall has these all features, like your ASA. ASA is a stateful firewall. So ASA has all these features, like packet filtering is there, stateful filtering is there, routing support is there, transparent firewall is there, AAA support is there, VPN support is there, then IPv6 support is there, VPN load balancing features are there, stateful failover features are there, clustering is there, MPF is there. Okay, so these are all the features of a firewall, and or you can consider stateful firewall or your ASA firewall. Then what is extra in the next generation firewall? So if we talk about what is extra, these are the features of a next generation firewall. So they have sandblasting or sandboxing features, URL filtering, VPN, anti-bot, firewall, data loss prevention, intrusion prevention, anti-spam, application control, identity awareness, antivirus features. All these features are there. So that means your normal firewall features, normal firewall feature means these all features combined with these extra features. That is your next generation firewall. Is it clear? All right. So these are all the features of a firewall. So this was an introduction to, your fundamentals of firewall. Any doubt in this part? No. Okay. Then lab setup, we will start tomorrow only. It will take time. So about firepower, we had already discussed, right? That in the year 2013, Cisco acquired what? SourceFire. Okay. So in 2013, before 2013, what was happening? That these firewalls, your FTD and all, these were coming under SourceFire company. And this thing was known as SourceFire 3D system. Okay, 3D means what? 3 devices. Then later on, Cisco acquired it in the year 2013 and they changed the name. So company became Cisco and the name was changed to Fireside System. Okay. So up till the version 5.3.0, it was under SourceFire. And after that, it came under Cisco. Okay, from the version 5.3.1. Then later on, Cisco changed from Fireside to Fireside in the 5.4 only. And in the version 6.x, it was changed to Firepower System. And up till now, it is Firepower family only. Okay, so SourceFire includes Series 2 and Series 3 appliances. Series 2 and Series 3, they were like, Series 2000 and 3000 appliances. So Firepower can also be managed individually by using Software Firepower Device Manager. So In short, FDM. So FDM is what? Basically an on-box manager. Okay. And this FDM is nothing but you can say HTTP access of firewall. HTTP access of FTD. Remember in the ASA, we have ASDM, Adaptive Security Device Manager. We downloaded a separate program and all. Then we managed it, correct? So here in case of FTD, we don't have to download any separate program. All we have to do is we have to go and enable HTTP on the FTD. Okay. And it will be automatically enabled also. Even we don't have to manually enable it. The firewall will itself ask us that whether you want to manage the firewall locally or you want to manage your firewall remotely. Okay. So local management means your firewall is talking about FDM. That is the local management. And remotely means your firewall is talking about management using FMC. Okay, so both the deployments I will show you, okay, that how you can manage your firewall using FDM and how you can manage your firewall using FMC also. So both the deployments I'm going to show you. Okay, now Cisco acquired SourceFire and gave the name as Fireside system from the version 5.3.1. And it was same with the 5.4 also. And later on in the 6.x version onwards, we call it as a firepower system. Okay. And it also included ASA X series of firewall. So we'll come to that, like what is the ASA X series and why they are having this X series firewalls. So here you can check again, just some naming convention is there. Like when it was under the SourceFire, the FMC was known as Defense Center. Then in the version 5.3.1, it became Fireside Defense Center. Then version 5.4, still it was Fireside Management Center or Fireside Defense Center. And then later on from 6.x, it completely became Management Center only, FMC. Okay, so it keep on changing like this. Okay. So see, your FDM can manage a single ASA file, single FTD. Your FDM can manage only single FTD firewall. And with the help of FDM, you cannot deploy your FTD in the transparent mode. Okay. We cannot deploy our FTD in the transparent. This is not possible with the help of FDM. So if you want to deploy your FTD in the transparent mode, you have to go with the FMC only. Okay. So your FMC, this can be used to manage multiple firepower devices like multiple NGIPS, multiple FTDs you can manage. So kind of you can say if your company is having multiple branches, so in one centralized place, like in your headquarters, you can have an FMC, which will be capable of managing FTDs from all your different branches. From a centralized place, you can manage. Okay. So FMC will be used to manage multiple different firepower devices. And FDM is a local manager. So individual one device you can manage. Okay. Then again, some naming convention. This is about the product family, Cisco Firepower product family. Like we have different ranges according to requirement. Okay. Then your FTD is nothing but, it's a combination of your ASA as well as your NGIPS. Okay, so both features combined, that is your FTD. Then this is for NGIPS. Devices by platform. This is the FMC models. These are the devices. Like this is the firepower operating system. So your FTD is coming up with a FXOS, Firefox operating system. Okay, so this is a Linux-based operating system that your FTD uses. Then these are virtual platforms. And This is about the management. So FDM is the local or on-box manager, and FMC is what? Just the management center for centralized management. Okay. Then we have the firepower appliances series 2. These are not applicable. Series 3, like 7000, 8000 series NGFW hardware appliances. So, you know, what happened? In 2013, your Cisco launched your firepower series, correct? So it was, you know, around, I think, October or November 2013 or 14, they launched these firewalls. So if somebody purchased ASA firewall in, let's say, June, somebody purchased in June, and later on in October or November, they launched FTD. Now ASA is capable of L3, L4 based filtering only, right? And now your new firewall FTD is capable of managing what? I mean, filtering your layer 7 traffic also. So companies who spend, you know, 15, 20 lakh rupees just for an ASA, just for doing layer 3, layer 4 filtering, they will be like, okay, we could have waited for 3-4 months. So they started communicating with Cisco. Cisco gave them certain options. What were the options? Cisco said that, okay, the first option you have is you give us your ASA firewall backs. Whatever the ASA firewall you have taken, give it back to us. And what we will do is we will give you some discount on the FTD. That means give us ASA back and we will give you some discount. So you can purchase what? FTD. Second option company gave them that, okay, if you have the ASA firewall, and in the ASA firewall, if you have the X series firewalls, okay, like this 5506X, 5506WX, 5506X, 5512X. So these X series firewalls, if you have, so now right now what is happening, that these X series firewalls, they are having a flash memory. In the flash memory, they are having a ASA operating system. So what you can do, you can install an SSD, and in the SSD, you can install the FTD operating system. So what will happen? Your L3, L4 filtering will be done with the help of ASA, and your L7 filtering will be done with the FTD. This way you can use it. This is the second choice. Third choice is, what you can do is, do not use ASA. Remove the flash operating system, and you can just install an SSD. In the SSD, you can just keep a FTD operating system, and entire L3, L4, L7, all the filterings will be done by your FTD itself. This was the third option given. And if you are still not ready, fourth option is go and purchase a dedicated FTD only. These were some of the options Cisco gave. Okay, so for small to medium businesses, these are the series of the firewalls that are used. Then for commercial and enterprise level, these were. And if you are using data center and high performance, these are all the models. This is how Cisco launched the product line. Is it clear? Now, most of these ASA X series firewalls, they are already outdated. Okay, so if you go and check on the internet also, that ASA, Cisco ASA end of life. See, ASA 5585X end of life announced. See here, when it was announced, 2nd of March 2022. Okay. Then you can see ASA 5512X, 5515X, 5506WX, 5585X. Okay. So already so many ASA models, they are already end of life. Okay. All right. So that's it for the day, guys. Okay. Tomorrow we will start with the lab setup. Okay. So first of all, we'll see some part of FTD, and then we will see lab setup. So tomorrow we'll design a lab in the EVNG, and after that we will start our lab deployment in the ESXi. Are the processors used in these devices too powerful? Can a virtual machine do the same for less cost? Yes, if it's a smaller organization, you can go with the virtual also. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, guys, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.